So hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com Tijuana. Today, Lietoc and I are joined by hammered dulcimer engineer Jen Powers and 12-string Takoma School guitar slinger Matthew Rolin, both comprising the Powers Rolin duo and sometimes trio to the show.
And yeah, we've been following both y'all's work here probably since the Garden Portal tapes that happened right there at the start of the pandemic, the Ohio and Beacon ones. And in that
Mhm.
time, the two of you kind of have quickly amassed a pretty hefty body of work in between dashing between Trouble in Mind and Feeding Tube and Astral Editions and now American Dream Records. So kind of want to just like scale way back, go back maybe like to the dawn of time here. Each of your beginnings as a musician, the formative music moments, kind of at least your introductions to the DIY communities that you ended up with in the Midwest.
Mm.
Oh, mine goes deep. I mean, I
You go first.
I'm old. I am 37 years old,
Okay.
and my first non like school or orchestra band thing, I was a trombone player, and I definitely played trombone in a ska band
That's
from
sick.
Cleveland, Ohio.
That's sick. I love that.
When I was like 15, probably until I was about 17. Actually, I think I quit it before I was 17. It was like a year and a half.
So was this
And-
third wave?
It was definitely third wave. Like we literally we played with like Mustard Plug and Real Big Fish and Voodoo Glow Skulls and like all these crazy every like crazy ska band.
That's so
Um,
sick,
So
dude.
you really made it. You peaked then.
that
all
was
downhill.
the peak of my music career for sure. Yeah. And then I remember like I got into like Fugazi and My Bloody Valentine and Pavement and stuff like that. And I was playing it for like the other members of my ska band. And they were like really pissed at me and not into it at all. And that was when I realized that like I just had to dip
Yeah,
and do something else, I guess.
that's so funny.
So then you
What was-
Yeah,
what
but then I just played I
story.
don't know, I played electric guitar for I started learning it when I was 18, played in about 10 trillion bands that were mostly of the rock and roll variety until I was 31 or 32. And then I decided that I wanted to not play in rock and roll bands and learn how to finger pick. And then I did that for a year, moved to Chicago, kept learning, met Jen, moved to Columbus for Jen, and then kept learning. And I'm still learning right now. And I don't even know what I do anymore, but I generally finger pick. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
guess
for my origin story, I grew up playing piano, like I learned traditionally. And I even went so far as to study it for a quarter in my freshman year of college.
Oh, nice.
And that was like the final nail in the coffin.
God.
Couldn't handle it, quit the piano thing. I still did something musically related for like my senior project. I recorded like a solo AP. Like I had just mostly recorded by myself at home as a teen. But honestly, after I graduated, I didn't play any music for a couple years. And then minus a couple little random like cover shows people had asked me to join in on.
Mhm.
I really got going doing what I do now when my friend who played guitar in a very unconventional way, he was just like, hey, like I have no idea how to play guitar. It feels pretty uncomfortable. I think it'd be fun to play with someone. Like, can we just improv some stuff? And I had been lately getting really into like Spiral Joy Band and Pelt and like, you know, Fahy and all of that.
Yeah.
But I had this hammered dulcimer that my cousin had given me years and years before, so I decided to get it fixed up and just start playing an instrument that I knew nothing about, like that I didn't have a relationship with, beyond, you know, appreciating on some like Appalachian and honestly like Asian British recordings, like folk stuff. But yeah, so I started playing with him, and then that evolved into a couple other projects. It's always been improvised for me. I don't really compose anything on it.
Mhm.
and it's been like maybe 6.5 years now. And it keeps getting better all the time. I love it. I'll never go back.
Wow, that's actually really sick.
Is it the
Yeah.
same hammer dulcimer from this previous 6 years? Have you changed it up in any capacity, or?
I actually just got a new one built. I think I got it in, was that March or April?
It was like April, yeah.
April, I think, that it got here.
Okay.
So I finally have a new one. And, I still love my original one. It's like a little student-sized dulcimer with its weird little quirks. And it's like overly resonant little body. And I really love it, but the new one's just like a work of art. And yeah, like Dusty Strings, which is a West Coast, it's like a Seattle company. They made it. And I've never been like a gear or brand head, but I will totally say that I adore their work. It's like the greatest instrument in the world. I love it.
That's awesome. At the time when the duo first began, were there any rules or concepts that you were trying to work under or outright break?
Absolutely not, no, because when we did our first show, it was 6 days after I had left Chicago to move back to Ohio. I'm originally from Cleveland,
Okay.
and then I moved to Chicago, and I was living there, and everything was like cool, and I was like, finally, I escaped Ohio. It's great.
Yeah.
And then I went on a tour with some friends from Chicago and met Jen on that tour in Columbus, where I really didn't know anything about Columbus or anything about anything outside of Cleveland for the most part.
Yeah.
Cleveland's like a very kind of like, insular place.
All of the three cities in Ohio are very, very insular. Yeah.
So
There's a
anyways,
ton of overlap.
Yeah, so I meet Jen, and then I'm like, wow, Jen rules. And we went back and forth for a while.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'll move to Columbus, even though I don't know anything about it, because like she had a good job and she has a family that like is actually really supportive and awesome to her, which is like a rare, beautiful thing to me. And so I moved here, and then right after I moved here, I was gonna play a show back up in Cleveland at my friend Jason, who plays drums with us now, but is in that band Cloud Nothings. He has like a cool house, and he puts shows on in his basement there.
Oh, that's sick.
And he was like, "Oh, you're back in Ohio, loser! Ha ha! Come play a show at my basement." So I was gonna do that. And then he asked if we had ever played music with each other before.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because we hadn't.
I mean, we had just started, living together like less than a week before.
So so the first gig that we played together was just like within like 1 day's notice of him being like, hey, you should play together at my basement. And so we just did, and it was fun. And then that's now turned into a thing where we have a bunch of records, I guess.
That's crazy.
But that's how it started.
Yeah, and I mean, it was very comfortable for me in a way, because I had already been doing like exclusively improvised like drone folk jam stuff for like, I don't know, at that point like 2.5 or 3 years, I can't remember. So I was just kind of like, oh, this will just be like another set, but like with someone new who happens to be very exciting to me. And yeah, it went really, really well. So we kept doing it.
That's cool. So
and here we are.
So what were you like performing with before, like with your like drone and stuff?
I had a few projects. The last was, I guess, the most significant. It was a Autophonia, which was a trio I had with these women, Steph and Jen, different Jen. And Steph was a accordion player, but she played it more like a harmonium.
Okay.
And then Jen played violin or viola. Oh God, I think viola.
Yeah.
And mandolin, but also in a very not mandolin way. Like it was very much in the Pelt Spiral Joy Band tradition, where like it's not really bluegrass going on. It was more extended drone type stuff. But yeah, Mark Masters wrote us up in band camp one time.
Oh, wow,
as
that's
an
kind of
another
sick.
column.
That's
That was
cool.
like the first press I ever got. So that
Oh,
like
wow, that's
made my
awesome.
year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has Mark Masters written about you guys since?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I actually like a funny side note for me was when I met Jen, I was just like this. I was like, there's no way this woman can be that perfect. Like she's incredible. And one of the first times that she came and visited me in Chicago, she was like, "Oh yeah, here's a cassette tape of this like project that I'm in." And I was just like, "Oh God damn it!" I was like, "I'm sorry, I swore,"
You're
but I was
good.
just like, "Oh man, like here we go. This I'm gonna listen to this, and it's gonna be
It's gonna
terrible." And
Yeah.
she left, and I listened to it. And this is mostly about me being a jerk.
Oh, I
For the record,
I
but
totally
like,
would have judged him if I hadn't seen him like play live first. Like I was mad when my friend
Yeah.
asked if yet another touring act could hop on the bill that I had booked.
Yeah.
But he placated me and was just like, "Oh, you know, it's like solo guitar stuff, like Fahey, you'll love it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that'll be fine."
but yeah, so Jen left my apartment in Chicago, and I was really like shaking, being like, please, for the love of God,
Don't
let
be
this
bad.
let
Yeah.
this not be terrible.
Don't be bad.
And I put it on, and it like blew my mind. It's really good. It's a great recording. I remember like texting her, and like, you know, it took her 6 hours to drive back to Ohio.
Yeah.
But I remember texting her and being like, "Hey, I listened to that tape, and it's incredible. Great job."
I was like, "Yeah."
And then Mark Masters wrote it up, and I was like, "Oh,
Well,
I,
most people-
You're like, I
was
thought it
like,
was
well,
better
you're-
first. Like,
you're too cool for me now."
yeah.
All right, see ya. Yeah.
Was that written during his era of high bias? Would have been found on the high bias kind of, because I know he swapped to best experimental. So.
I think it was.
It was best
like,
experimental.
Yeah, it was best experimental, and it was like right after he stopped doing. Was it 200 word or 100 word reviews? Like his Tumblr that he had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like within a year or so, I think, of that going away, which I think I remember him being bummed about that. But yeah, then he started doing that Bandcamp column, which I read, you know, religiously. I still read it every month.
It's so
amazing. Yeah, it's always perfect.
So what year was that back then when you released that tape?
That would have been 2017.
Oh, okay. Sick.
Yeah, like maybe it was on Scioto, which is a Columbus label run by this guy Keith Hanlon, who's a recording engineer at Musical, which is like our local, it's actually a tiny record pressing plant, but also a recording studio that's been around since, oh God, I don't know, like maybe the 60s, 50s.
Oh, wow, that's
70s.
really sick, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a house that
Yeah.
you can record a record in, and then they can press the actual
Oh, wow,
records.
that's
we
really
haven't
cool,
done,
actually.
but we didn't record it at Musical. We actually recorded it at Keith's like new house, kind of in the same neighborhood. But we just recorded in his record room, which, you know, I thought was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah.
So Matt, like you, I guess going back to what we were talking about a little bit before, where we started talking about Jen's drone stuff. So you were living in Chicago at the time?
I was, yes.
So what kind of music were you playing? Were you doing like more, I guess, like experimental, like, or I don't know, not experimental, but like improv type stuff? Or were you?
No, I was not doing any improv stuff at all, really. I was just trying to learn how to finger pick guitar, because I'd never really tried to do that previously.
And you're already playing like Fahey level, like finger style picking stuff, or?
I didn't even know who Fahey was at that point. Like, honestly, like when I was learning how to do this, I like, so if you want like my origin story on finger picking,
yeah, I'm down.
It was like I had played in rock bands forever.
Yeah.
My last rock band broke up under bizarre circumstances, and I was like just sick of dealing with it. So I was like, "Fuck this!" Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
And so I didn't really know what I was going to do, and then I went to Chicago for a couple days just to like get out of Cleveland for a minute, and like the one person I knew that lived there was like, "Dude, why don't you just like move here? Like, it seems like you don't really have a lot going on in Cleveland, and I was just like, "You're right. I should just leave Cleveland
Yeah.
finally," which I've been threatening to do forever. But I should probably just do it and just
Yeah.
leave. And so I had like a 8-month lease left with my ex, who I did not talk to at all, and she had like another partner at this point that she was staying with, but we kind of didn't like figure out an agreement to get me out of that lease.
That's awkward. So
I was sleeping on a couch in like this like 6x10 room kind of.
Yeah.
And then just not being there, and I would just play guitar, and I would go to this farm that was like 45 minutes outside of Cleveland that was run by this like hippie that grows daylilies.
Yeah.
This is like a true story. I'm 100% serious about this.
That's it.
And he had a really nice Martin guitar, and I would sit there and he would let me just like play terrible guitar, like learning how to do Travis picking, like, you know, like the dun 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 thing, for months while I was just like bleeding out this lease kind of. And then I had a really good friend who was in my old rock band, who I still love to this day, who decided to go to Southeast Asia for like 2 months and asked me to watch his like 5 cats. And I was like, totally, I don't want to fucking, I'm sorry, God damn it.
No, you're good.
I keep swearing.
You're fine.
But keep going, Kay.
I apologize. Anyways, so I'm going, like, I got asked to watch all these cats at my friend's house that was a couple blocks away from my apartment that I slept on a couch at. So I said yes, obviously. And then when I showed up there, he was like, "Okay, we'll be back in 2 months, and here's a bunch of like LSD that we put in the freezer."
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, can we talk about that?
Yeah, you can talk about that.
absolutely.
Totally.
Okay. All right. So I had kind of quit the bartending industry and was getting into what I do now, which is cleaning beer lines, which is like an early morning job.
Yeah.
And then I would do that, and then I would go essentially live at my friend's house for 2 months, and I would just listen to like free jazz and look up like Daniel Bachman and Riley Walker videos and sit there like tripping like all weekend trying to figure out what I'm doing when I wasn't at the Daylily farm run by a hippie who used to hang out with the Velvet Underground, where I was also probably tripping at.
Yeah.
And I kept doing that until the point where it was about like 3 weeks where I was moving to Chicago, and then Daniel Bachman actually came through Cleveland.
Wow.
2 blocks from my apartment that I was sleeping on a couch at. And I kind of just like begged them to let me put me on the show, because everyone in Cleveland at that point had known me because I'd been in rock bands forever, and they were just like, okay. And so I got on that show, and I really I was embarrassingly bad because I'd only been doing this for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm playing with Daniel Bachman, and he was very nice.
He's the best.
He was super nice.
Autophinia, we actually played with him that same tour, like probably a week before that show down in Columbus.
Oh, wow.
You know, without Matt and I having met at that point.
Yeah.
Because Daniel played at this ridiculous club. And I was just kind of like, hey, man, like, what's going on with that? And he's like, I have an agent. This sucks. Like, I don't know. He chose this spot. So I was just like, do you have an opener? Like, can we play? And he was like, yeah, sure. Cool.
The place you played in Cleveland is terrible too. And I was like, man, 2 blocks from my house, but why is this guy playing here? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's usually like for like Aerosmith cover bands or something like that.
Right.
But anyways, just to like move this along, so I'm rambling really hard. I moved to Chicago and I tried to get better. And as soon as I moved to Chicago, a lot of people that I really respected, I met, who I had not known previously, but I'd been listening to their music prior, and they were very, very nice to me. And they just kind of like let me hang out and jam and put me on gigs and recorded my stuff and like, you know, put me on tour with them. And that's how I met Jen.
Yeah.
And then like when I was like, oh, I'm gonna move back to Ohio for Jen, like everyone in Cleveland and Chicago simultaneously was like, what is wrong with you? You're like, why would you do that? You're
Why would
crazy.
you leave
Yeah.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Which even I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
really, dude? Like for Columbus? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's
I
great.
had
The
a good
modernist
job.
city.
I was playing cool gigs in Chicago and I was hanging out with the cool people and all that. And it was just like, I don't care about this. I'd rather just go hang out with Jen in Columbus, I guess. But I mean, like, I'm grateful that I was hanging out with cool people.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And
Yeah.
well, the nice thing about Columbus is that we're very central here. Like, I don't know how y'all feel about like what a long drive is, but for us, it's just like you can get to Chicago in like 5.5 hours, Pittsburgh 3, Detroit 3, like
That's honestly
Cincinnati,
really
Cleveland,
good.
like Philly's like 7 hours, DC's like 6, 7. You can get to Baltimore and New York City, like you can do anything in like a day.
That's actually
So,
really close
There-
to everything. Like it literally takes us 6 hours, or at least where I'm from, like 6 hours just to get to the Bay Area or like San Francisco
Yeah.
or something. You know what I'm saying?
it's about. I mean, I'm San Diego County, so that's 2 for LA or 3 for Santa Barbara.
Yeah, exactly.
3
It's
hours doesn't actually get you to a lot of great places, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. In the way
Yeah.
it's like, oh, those are cities that I want to go to.
yeah,
in
that's
the
actually
Yeah.
really sick. I wouldn't have thought that. That's
I
Cleveland,
mean,
right? You're saying?
so the last gig that we played before everything got shut down was in Kingston, New York, at this place called Tubby's that is
Oh,
like legendary
The
at this
$75 bill set was there.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
but like that show literally was like they booked $75 bill, and then I hit up the guy who owns Tubby's because I had played there a couple times previously, and like Jen had as well. And I was
Yeah,
just
one of
like,
those
I was
shows.
like, hey, can we just open up for $75 bill at the show?
Because
Wow.
they were like my favorite
Yeah.
band, and I had booked them here before in Columbus. And you know, like I was friends with them, but I was still just like, yeah, just hit up Corey, like he runs Tubby's, and see if that's cool. Because I'm sure like Rick and Che will be fine with it. Like they don't really, yeah, whatever. But they were actually happy about it, and it was a wonderful, like the best show I've ever played.
That's
it was so
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, so we drove like 8.5 hours just to play one show, and then drive 8.5 hours back the next day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've done crazier, but yeah.
Well, Thomas, I mean, we just had a group fly out to Ventura last
Oh my
week.
God. So yeah, I actually had this. This is totally a side story, not related to the interview at all, but I just hosted a show in Ventura, and I had this band fly out from South Carolina to play their first show at this show in California, and
At a barbershop.
Whoa.
wild. Yeah, at a
What
barbershop.
what band was it?
They're called Poorly Drawn House. They're like slowcore.
Okay.
They're part of like that like online like slowcore type scene. Do you know this band called
Yeah.
Sprain by chance?
I don't.
I think
Okay.
so.
When I think slowcore, I just think of low.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Sprain kind of
got
started
ticks on
out
low.
like yeah. Sprain kind of started out like sounding like that, and now they're kind of just like this really noisy. They do like this crazy like improv stuff now.
Oh,
But
that's
they
awesome.
started out like in the same place as like Poorly Drawn House, and so it was just like this weird like I guess like turn of events that we were able to get all these bands to play together. So it's just kind of cool. And anyways,
Oh, it's amazing.
yeah,
That's what
it
it's
was
all
fun.
about.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really cool. Anyways, I guess like back to like your Chicago thing to loop it back.
Sorry,
so
that like went off on a
no,
tangent.
you're good.
This is a
I
good
just
tangent.
yeah, I just totally went off on a tangent too. But so like who were you hanging out with in like Chicago and stuff that kind of like, was like introducing you to all this?
I mean, like pretty much like right when I got there, there's this like it was literally called the Compound in Little Village, and it was
There's just like
like
three,
four
three-
houses
three
that
or four
are-
houses,
yeah.
that were all on the same block in Little Village.
Okay.
This is before I even knew you existed as a person.
Right, but I
Um,
hung out there. Like that's where I used to go visit folks like a few times before I met Matt.
But yeah, it was
Last year.
it was mainly this dude Brian Sulpizio who used to play guitar with Riley Walker, but
Oh,
he has
wow.
his main band is called Health and Beauty. That's like pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And he's done a lot of mastering work for me, and he actually recorded my first solo record at the Compound there when I still lived there. And then he lived next door to this dude named Matt Schneider,
Hmm.
who
Cinnamon
now,
Bros.
yeah, he had his project is called Moon Bros, which is
So
if you knew him, it's way funnier than me telling you that his project is called Moon Bros, because he probably is like the best guitarist I've ever seen in my entire life. He lives in Fort Collins, Colorado right now.
Yeah.
And like I'm not going to speculate, but I think that he's partners with Josephine Foster, who was another Chicago like folk
Legendary,
legend,
folk
pretty much.
revival, yeah.
But he plays all over her last record that came out in 2020. That's really, really great. If you haven't heard that, and yeah, so I would hang out with those dudes, and then it like always it was like someone from Bitchin' Baja's, like
Oh
Cooper
my
Green,
God.
or
Oh, that's sick.
someone else was hanging out there.
Yeah.
And like that was like the scene kind of, and like I moved from Cleveland.
Well, and Rob Fry lived there too.
Yeah.
Who's
Oh,
one of
wow.
Numero. Or sorry, not Rob Fry. God, Rob
No,
Sevier.
no.
Yeah.
Rob,
Sevier. I don't know how I pronounce it.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Rob Fry's in Bitchin' Bajas, right?
Rob Fry's in
Rob
Bitchin'
Fry,
Baja.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
However, also
Who is also a sweetheart.
Yeah, but
Rob Sevier or Sevier was living with Brian.
my favorite moment of meeting Rob Sevier or Sevier, however you pronounce his last name, is that I had met him a couple times, and he was always this like kind of disgruntled guy that was like in his like underwear cooking steak on like
and a non-stick, baby.
on like a skillet, yeah,
On an electric stove. It
and
was amazing.
and so one day like he's doing that, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, Brian, like, have you heard this like Colombian psych compilation that like Numero Group has put out? And he was just like, oh, he was like, dude, he was like, hold on a second. And then like Rob was like in his like underwear, literally like frying a steak. And he was like, oh, you like Numero Group, dude? And I was just like, yeah. I was like, yeah, they're sick. I like a lot of the compilations they put out. And he was like, that's my label. And I was like, fuck you. Oh, sorry. I swore again. I was just like, no, I can't. I was like, I don't believe you. Like, that's not true. And then Brian had to be like, he was like, no, that really literally is the guy that like runs Numero. He has a shop down the street. But this is after like, months of me just thinking he was the guy that he was like in his underwear making steaks.
So the guy that runs Numero just like chills in his underwear and fries steaks.
He also he can look very professional when he wants to,
without a doubt. But like when Matt Schneider, me and Brian are drinking like 50 beers on like a Friday night, he doesn't care, and he's also a very kind man. And he's like let us stay there ever since I moved back here and all that. And I mean, Numero's a great label.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, because like he was just such like a chill guy that was like so nondescript that I was like,
you're not a jerk. You run a successful label.
Yeah, wow. And he like already had like a Grammy or something at that point, and I was just like, I can't believe this. This is insane. But it's true, and that
was the scene, and it was so funny too, because then when Matt and I met, I mean, I guess it makes sense because we met through Brian coming through and having me book a show for him. But like that was a lot of the crew that I had gotten to know over the previous few years, and all of my visits to Chicago. And yeah, it's, oh man, Chicago's like the best music scene in the country. Like it's so amazing.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, and everyone's so kind. Like, yeah, it's just this endless wealth of like inspiration, and like everyone's hilarious, and we all have the same like basic personality Midwest traits, which makes it really easy to relate to each other.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I love it there so much.
That's awesome.
Not enough to have moved there, when Matt and I met.
I mean, if I didn't move there, like I don't even know if I would exist right now, honestly. Like Chicago really kind of saved my life, and like not even in like a like I hate to say like music career, because like I definitely don't have one. I just make music, and then I'm very fortunate that some people like it, like y'all and all that. But like if it wasn't for me like leaving Cleveland and going to Chicago, I probably wouldn't even play music anymore. So
wow, that's crazy. I mean, that scene that you guys like describe sounds like so fun, and just like, I don't know, sounds awesome. And then also what I wanted to add too is like, it's crazy how like you guys were just like so close to each other, even though you didn't know each other. Like this entire story you
Oh
guys were
yeah.
saying, like that's just wild. Like you guys were like just like a few degrees of separation, like apart, but like yeah, it's just wild.
Yeah.
You didn't know each other, you know? That's cool.
Well, people in Cleveland would crash with me when I lived in Chicago, and they were like, "Oh, you're hanging out with Jen Powers now?" And I
Well,
was just,
yeah,
and they were like, "How did you not know her when you were living in Cleveland?" And I was
well,
just like,
and wildly,
I don't know.
on Thanksgiving Day, right after we met, my roommate at the time ended up going with his dad to the bar that Matt was tending bar at. And Matt got to talking with him. He heard
Oh,
like
that-
an anecdote, and like I'll try to keep it brief. Like, yeah, I heard an anecdote and was just like, oh, like Ohio person. Matt's like, yeah, I'm actually like about to move back to Columbus to like move in with this lady. And you know, my roommate was just like, oh, who's that? Because he had moved out a few months prior.
Yeah.
So Matt was just like, oh, like Jen Powers. And he was like, oh my God, like I lived with her for like a year. Like we're buds. We're in like a noise collective together.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it was just so bizarre. But it all came together.
That dude was in a band with a guy that I had been in like multiple bands with for years in Cleveland.
In Ken, Ohio.
But they were in a band in Kent. Yeah. But like the bass player from his old band was my bass player for like at least 2 or 3 bands that I existed in Cleveland with.
So I guess I was wrong earlier. There is a lot of overlap between the cities in Ohio, just no one ever talks about it. Like you have to figure out about it like 10 years later.
Yeah. So I guess like real quick before we jump on to like our next topic, can you talk about like your noise collective a little bit too? I'm sorry, this is just like interesting.
Oh wow, yeah. So I didn't even mean to bring them up. I love them.
You did though.
Yeah, it's this loose amorphous crew. The first show we ever played was actually with Ono when they came through.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But we
oh
were,
no.
Yeah, but we were very goofy. But yeah, it's called the Alien Autopsies Covered in Cat Hair and the LSD Vending Machine Ensemble.
That's sick.
So like I don't know at this point. There are probably like 8 or 9 of us left. I don't know. It changed every time, but it was really fun, and it was a really nice outlet for me to like do a lot of the improv type stuff that I wasn't doing with my more like serious projects. Not that any of them were that serious, but you know, it was just a lot of fun, and we're still like buds with a bunch of them. You know, we'll go to like family barbecues of theirs on the weekends and stuff.
Yeah. That's sick.
But yeah. So we did play earlier this year in a backyard.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's pretty rare these days. But Alien Autopsies and LSD, not dead. We're still going.
That's actually really cool. I really like, I guess, like hearing about your guys' like backgrounds and stuff, because like everything else that I've read or like I don't know heard about you guys, like I never heard actually about like your like DIY like noise backgrounds or like whatever. It's kind of sick. I really liked hearing about that.
Oh yeah. I was that was kind of how I came into like all of the DIY stuff. Like I booked a lot of like noise gigs and other weird experimental stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just like a pop rock dude most of my life. I went to like every show I could go to.
Well, you went to a ton of noise gigs.
And all like the DIY shows. So like, I mean, I saw like, you know, Tusco Terror and Emeralds and
nice.
and everyone from Northeast Ohio. And I mean, I would occasionally, I guess like to make myself sound slightly cooler, I had like one project where I mostly did a bunch of loop pedal drone stuff.
Yeah.
And I would play like, yeah, like I do now, I guess. It's like full circle. But I would play with like Mike Tolan from who's like Talons, who's one of my favorite people in Northeast Ohio music, and the whole like Akron scene crew of people that like fractured off of like 6 Part 7 from back in the day.
That's sick.
Because one of my old bands used to play with 6 Part 7. And my old drummer was like their drummer for their last tour before Al went to like Seattle and then like works for Sub Pop now or something.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
You guys really seem like you'd be the type of people that'd be into Amps for Christ. You guys into Amps for Christ?
Oh,
huge
yes.
fan. Yeah.
we booked Henry at the laundromat that we booked shows
Yeah,
at,
he
and he
stayed
played
at
a
our
show.
house.
Dude,
Yeah,
Henry
a
is literally
monster hangover thanks to him being like, y'all like IPAs? Let's go get some IPAs.
Dude, Henry
Yeah,
is such a
he's
chiller,
the
dude.
best.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was supposed to play on my show back when we were doing like in studios still, like pre-COVID, and I had his band Gun Outfit play on my show, and I didn't know that Henry was in Gun Outfit and just
Yeah.
Amps for Christ, and so I had them booked like back to back. Like here's Gun Outfit, and then like 2 weeks later it was just Henry.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
they went on a
the-
whole tour together.
I know,
the
yeah.
show,
Tosca.
the show
Yeah.
we booked was a Tosca, Gun Outfit, and then like me.
And Amps for
Oh wow.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, when
Yeah.
I had Gun Outfit play on my show, they're like, "You're playing Itasca on the show. Like, did you know that Itasca is in our band?" And I was just like,
Yeah.
"No, I didn't know that." Yeah, it was funny. And they're like, "Yeah, that's
Dude,
her."
That's like the coolest like overlap of people I've ever encountered, I think, where they're like, we're all gonna go on a tour and we all sound really different, but
Yeah,
it's like we're also all in a band.
Henry
Yeah.
was like taking requests from me when I was like sitting Indian style while he was playing at this laundromat, and then like we got wasted on my front porch.
dude, you got wasted with Henry, dude. I'm so jealous.
On your legendary front
Bro.
porch.
Yeah,
He's a party guy for sure.
dude, that's
He-
awesome,
yeah.
man.
I feel like I would have not gotten as drunk as I did if it wasn't for Henry being like, "What are the highest ABV, hoppiest beers that exist in Ohio?"
Which
You know?
thankfully in Ohio, every other building that's commercial is like a microbrewery. So we're
Oh,
like,
that's-
well,
Yeah,
we have
Oh,
a
that's
lot.
San Diego County as well. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. He's a totally delightful guy. One of my favorite people I've ever met.
We also, all the people in Gun Outfit are super nice, and Kayla is an incredible person too. So,
Yeah, amazing musician. Oh,
Not
she's
trying to
so
single
good.
out Henry as being like,
Yeah, they're all fantastic.
no, everybody in Gun Outfit is super chill. I had a
spot
really,
here.
I had a really nice chat with him about like Santa Barbara punk, and I was like, "Wow, dude, you're in a country band." For some reason, I didn't think that, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I used to like come down to like Goleta when we were just driving through and be like, dude, do you think we'll like see some Ebullition bands playing?" I don't know, it's just kind of funny hearing him like talk about how he'd like fan out over that stuff. Back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
day.
Gun Outfit used to be like a hardcore band.
Really?
I bought.
Yeah.
They were like a punk hardcore band, and I came across one of their old records. One of the
Seriously,
last times I
that
was in
is
Philly, and
wild.
I definitely bought it, and I was like, "Wow, this is like a punk record. This is incredible." Because it's clearly not what they are anymore at
That
this
was
point.
before
Yeah.
the Paradise days. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really sick, actually.
it was also at a record shop that only stocked punk,
That's
but
random.
it was like mostly like bad punk.
Oh,
To
I
me-
love that. That's the best punk. The bad punk's the best punk.
I'm from Cleveland, and like I have like a really like snobby take on punk rock because I'm from Cleveland. So like I was
Because
just
it's
like,
the best punk ever. yeah.
well, it's the most nihilistic, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
wait, but not Dayton, Ohio. You don't. It's Cleveland.
Dayton is really good for noise, but as
Yeah.
far as punk bands go, Cleveland is king.
That's sick.
And like Cleveland punk, I really do truly think is the greatest in the world. It's like Cleveland's not good at a lot of things, but they're really really scary nihilistic punk bands.
Yeah.
That I have grown up with.
Yeah.
Definitely upper echelon for sure.
That's sick. So I guess Maddie, we like totally just spent like 40 minutes talking about like other stuff, which I thought was absolutely amazing and probably more
Oh no,
fun
this
than
was perfect.
probably more
We're
fun than
still-
any of the other questions that we had written. But I guess do
I
you
think,
wanna
I think we can get
What-
back
what-
on track pretty easy because we're talking about Cleveland and we talked about some label bosses. And Matt, you grew up in Cleveland and you know a label boss. His name is Jason. We don't know how to pronounce Jason's last name.
Oh,
Jersey?
it's Garish.
It's
Oh,
Garish?
Garish.
Oh, Maddie
Garish.
said that earlier, I
So-
believe,
so
and I was like, I don't know.
Look, I've been friends with that dude since I was like 24, and I didn't even know how to pronounce his name until like a year ago. So don't feel
Fantastic.
bad about it.
But so you've been friends with him though for over a decade. I mean, that pretty much predates even the pathetic period that Cloud Nothings had. Honestly, yeah. How the hell you guys meet? why haven't you put out a Unifactor tape?
Yeah, why not? Why haven't you done anything with Unifactor?
Those are our questions right now.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Oh,
so the short answer to that is that we have a record that is sort of that's definitely done that may trio record, yeah, that may or may not be the first Unifactor vinyl release.
Oh wow.
Who knows? It's way far off. We
This
don't
is pure
know.
speculation.
Mhm.
So don't
Also, Jason has wanted to put us on a batch since like before we started playing, but then he fills up every batch so perfectly, and he's like, "Oh, you guys will be on the next one."
Also, we
Be
just
on the
keep
next
putting stuff
one.
out too.
Yeah,
And it's like,
he put stuff out, but then we
Yeah.
started playing as a trio, and now he's just like, "All right, like maybe we should actually like factor this in."
no, but Jason is one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life, and I respect him more than about 99.9% of the population because he is just a legit lifer, very talented jammer, and it is a true joy to work with him in any capacity at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, like we used to just go like get wasted and eat chicken wings like every fucking day. I'm sorry, I just swore again.
You're good.
no.
You're good. You're
Oh, you did it again.
good.
I'm a hillbilly. Jesus. All right.
No,
and
I do it a lot too. I work at a library, so I can turn it off. You know.
but yeah, so like Jason becoming one of our bandmates was like not like a thing that was planned at all. That was really just like a totally random thing that worked out really well.
Mhm.
And then
yeah, we just figured we
hopefully
would
it works out really well again in 2 weeks when the next record comes out.
Yeah.
And, hopefully again when the third one that's already recorded comes out in like another 5 years or something.
Yeah.
So,
From the Unifactor vaults.
hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But I mean, Unifactor is insane. They're a great label. Jason puts his entire life and soul into that tape label. I don't even think he really makes any money off of it at all. He just wants it to be like
he might make money off this last batch. This is the first time they've done a repress, which really shocked me. But
yeah,
it was like it's been their strongest batch, I think, since the pandemic one. Even though God, the Machine listener this year was very, very good.
Oh yeah,
Well, I
Matt
mean,
Gallagher, they rule.
Matt
Yeah.
Gallagher, ultimate homie.
They just moved to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
so it's kind of cool that now we like know another person in Pittsburgh.
Also, that new batch is weird to me because, like, you know, historically, I just buy it and then he ships it to me,
yeah.
which is dumb because we see each other all the time.
Yeah.
It's like the one time that we had played with Cloud Nothings at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was a hilarious, amazing show.
Yeah.
And then we were staying at Jason's house after that, and I was like, "Yo, do you have those tapes yet? Because I don't want to pay shipping. Like, screw you, you know."
Yeah.
And so we just took all the tapes off the table and like didn't let him package them. And I was like, "Yeah, let me get that button. Give me that." And then
yeah, we got well, not the full set because there are like 9 or 10. Like Tony Pasquarosa is a madman, and also he and Jason are like BFFs. So Tony made like 1 million different buttons, but at that time, Jason had run out of button making material temporarily and was ordering more. So we only have 4 of the set, but they're all beautiful. And yeah, that's like one of my favorite Unifactor sets of all.
We also stayed at Tony's like for 2 days a week prior to that too. So like I wasn't gonna
and mass.
I wasn't gonna harass them about that.
But it was lovely. And yeah, Jason rules, and it's a total pleasure to be his bandmate and, you know, just hang and crush some Modelo's on the porch and like talk about records and stuff.
I hope he makes millions of dollars off of this new Unifactor batch, pretty much.
It's gonna happen.
We definitely are gonna have something come out on Unifactor in the future.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there'll be something.
I can't wait. That's gonna be sick. Maddie, did you want to take this next one?
I'll keep going. So let's keep our track going here. So instrumentation of the Gers, or not, well, no, of actually the Powers Rolin duo, not the trio formation. It suggests a lineage of, I guess, American folk music. But the pandemic to present releases, they further upped these elongated experiments and the long form ditties, closer somewhere towards krautrock. And I guess in between all of this, I'm just curious about how improv has developed over the past 18 to 24 months. Because also a lot of the releases we've had, they really are stuff from 2019 to 2020. So we don't even know really what's going on in your guys' heads, I think, at this point. But how has it developed and kind of flowed in between?
I mean, we're both like massive fans of like krautrock, like Popol Vuh, Amandul, like Can, all of that. And actually, my greatest obsession when I was like in my early 20s, I had about 3 years where I listened to nothing but British folk music, like in every sense, like traditional stuff, folk revival stuff, acid folk, uh, even like some of the weirder like 70s prog folk stuff. I mean, I was
even the King Crimsons that kind of could fit in there.
Oh yeah, totally. And we're both like massive King Crimson fans. Like my favorite's Islands. His is Starless. Yeah.
Oh, I have both those on tape.
No,
yeah.
in the court is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
However, I love everything through Red pretty much.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We listen to like all sorts of stuff. And
Bill Bruford.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been really stoked about. There have been a few people who have compared us to Popol Vuh. I can't remember who all specifically, but every time I read that, I'm just like over the moon because they're like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is like folk is definitely like my greatest joy in life, but there's so much more that I love basically just as much. And I kind of want to incorporate all of that. And I think part of the pandemic mentality is just being like in a perpetual stage of like, maybe I'm going to lose my mind today. I don't know if I can keep it together.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's more like a like frantic energy and like anxiety and what we've been doing, but we still have the same steely-eyed like hope that maybe our music will like make it better for someone, by listening to it. Like it certainly makes us feel better to play it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's steely-eyed optimism meets like crushing anxiety for the state of the world.
Is that a mood that you would say has developed over the course of these from basically like Beacon through Lamplighter? Just this kind of steady.
I mean, like so like my perspective on this is that I am just always playing guitar regardless of whether it's going to be for anything. I just play music because I'd rather do that than most other things.
You do actually sit down and play a lot more than I do too, which is something that I never really like talk about.
Yeah, but like when I'm like, hey Jen, let's like record something, or hey, let's go up to like Jason's and record something. We all just show up and we just jam, and like when we did Beacon, I think Jason didn't even think he was gonna play on it or something like that, and it was like,
yeah, he thought
it was like no, like we came up here so that you could play drums on this, man, and he was just like, all right, well this is gonna sound terrible because it's like a hammered dulcimer and an acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
and like
but I'll see what I can do.
And like the extent of his improv, even like he has, like with Dylan from Cloud Nothings, they have their duo, but even that's more like pre-jazz, like louder, like basically Jason was just like, oh my god, like how am I gonna play quiet enough to like not drown you guys out? And we're like, we'll figure it out, man.
Yeah, and I was just like, don't play quiet, I don't care, it doesn't matter, just microphones and everything, it's cool. And like
but it kind of did for that one, and it did create this tension, but that was in 2019, it was before the pandemic, but it turned out to be a really appropriate soundtrack for the beginning of pandemic. And then, Lamplighter, certainly we recorded that like a couple weeks before Halloween. And then again, the second session was on Halloween weekend of 2020. And we went up to his house to finish it up.
We had to go up there.
And we were definitely like all going crazy at that point.
For the record, we went up there because my little brother got married. That's the only reason why we left our house in the middle of the pandemic. But
so we decided to record
Jason was a good person to hang out with because we trust him to not be a moron, and he hadn't left his house because like Cloud Nothings wasn't touring.
Yeah, and that's his job, you know. Like,
and
that's
we
all
like
he
didn't
does,
leave our house
so.
except to work. Like I had to work down here, but other than that, like we hadn't left our house either. So,
but yeah, Jason was just, you know, he was doing the Unifactor stuff, but that's all from home. You know, he would go visit his partner, but that was the only time he ever left the house to do anything. So, so yeah, we went up and like it felt really, really good to see each other. So I feel like there was a lot of good energy, but we were also just all being like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like, what is the world like right now? It's awful. So there was a lot of tension, but like it was all directed, you know, outwards, of course, but we still got to lock in with each other. And we were more confident, you know, like Beacon had been so well received.
Which was like a super shock.
Yeah, which was amazing. Like none of us could really believe it. But yeah, and it was just also cool. Not only that, but like we had enjoyed recording it so much that we already felt more comfortable playing with each other, and we all had like some new like super loose ideas for it, which basically didn't go beyond like the key we were playing in or like the mood. Like it still wasn't very planned at all. But it was really fun. It was great.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. Matthew, so you posted today on Instagram your October 2019 improv thing, and you were saying that this is what's going on in your head right now. So what did you mean by that?
So I feel like that was recorded the same day that I did the Ohio tape that came out on Garden Portal. And Jason like had like a splint on his like wrist. And
yeah, he had messed up his wrist somehow.
He was like moving a huge shelf and like messed his hand up, and then also like I have some back issues every once in a while. Like I had like a sciatica thing happen where like I'm in severe pain, and we recorded that entire tape kind of like that together, and then went to go see an art show by Matt Gallagher.
Oh wow!
So like we left Jason's house after I did the tape, and then went to go see this crazy sound installation thing that Matt was doing with Jeff Host, where there was like psycho strobe lights, but like my back was so messed up that I like didn't even want to like stand for it. And so we finished doing that, and then went back to Jason's, and he was like, well, there's like, you know, maybe like 9 minutes left on this reel, so we should probably record something else.
Oh, that's sick.
And so like I'm like a crippled old man being like, all right, I'll play electric guitar for the first time in 5 years.
And
I was like, Jason, do you want to just like, you know, blast like you know, Brian Chippendale drums or something? And he was like, well, I'm in horrific pain, but yeah, sure, no problem. So we just recorded that just to kill like 9 minutes. And I don't think either of us felt any way about that in any way, shape, or form. But after listening to it back, I was just like, well, this is a hilarious thing that will never happen again. Because like we would probably never sit down and like try to make a record like that. But I do think that recording is important to me, at least in particular, because I hadn't really played electric guitar in years prior to that recording. And I didn't know what I was doing, and it was just fun, and it was kind of like a extreme cathartic experience. And what I meant by this is where I'm at mentally these days is not so much you know, like that instrumentation or anything like that, but like the feeling of you know, whatever, like you know, I not like some kind of like dainty, like, let me make this thing pretty for you so you have a pleasant experience kind of thing. Like more like just blasting it out there sort of and deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, that was so I guess like you were saying, we probably wouldn't expect anything else to come like that, because I thought that was really crazy. Like you were saying, it was very cathartic. It was kind of just wild. It was very like almost like free jazzy almost, you know?
I mean, like Jason and I could definitely make a record like that, but and it would be fun, and it probably wouldn't be that bad or embarrassing, but at the same time, like I don't think we would ever, at least at this current moment, we have not talked about doing something like that. So
Yeah. Okay. That's sick. Maddie, do you want to take the next one?
I guess we'll keep going down the line here. So if we're to be correct, the state of Ohio though has been opening back up over the past couple of months, and in between that time, y'all have been playing some shows. And could you give a bit of a lowdown on those gigs from backyard to festival that you've been performing at? What's it like?
The outdoor ones feel really good.
Mhm.
the first one was in our backyard.
Yeah, the first was in our backyard. It was with Jason. He came down early. We recorded, whatever the third trio album will become someday. And then Fred Thomas and his spouse Emily came down
Oh, wow.
from Ann Arbor, and they both played sets.
That's sick.
And then Bill and Lisa, who run Trouble in Mind, were
Yep.
also here.
Wow,
And
that's
yeah,
crazy.
we set it up because Bill and Lisa's from the same like suburb that I grew up in,
Oh.
like northeast of Columbus.
What a
So
coincidence. That's
they
crazy.
were coming to visit her folks or her dad. So we were like, well, what if we like put a show on for you? Like that'd be fun, right? They were like, yeah, sure. We haven't seen a show in like over a year. That'd be great.
Mhm.
So we did that, and it was perfect. It was really wonderful. Everyone was super respectful. Like almost everyone was entirely vaccinated by then.
No,
Yeah.
everyone was except for the kids.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the kids were, because they couldn't be because they're too young. But everyone else was, and like, everyone put a mask on to come into the bathroom. Like, it was
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
We have played some indoor gigs. They were all within that weird time and like beginning of July where definitely everyone was vaccinated who would ever come out to a show of ours.
Yeah.
But the Delta variant wasn't really being talked about yet.
Yeah.
So like, it was okay at the time. Like
Mhm.
looking back, I'm like, ooh, maybe we like shouldn't have done that. But it went well for everything. I have not heard anything bad coming of it, which makes me feel better. We're certainly going to be like very extremely cautious for all of
Yeah.
our upcoming shows, like including like we're playing with Cloud Nothings tomorrow night
Mhm.
in Columbus. But it's like vaccinations required, like masks inside, unless
Mhm.
you're like taking a sip of your beer.
Yeah, every place that we're playing gigs from like about a month ago until December of this year is like vax required, and
Mhm.
a lot of stuff is outside, but the stuff that isn't, like they're being pretty hardcore about like policing people not being morons, I guess.
But
So,
it does feel weird, like
Yeah.
it's really weird, and I felt weird about like promoting it, and I haven't done that as much as I might have otherwise. I don't know. I just want everyone to be okay, and I want everyone to feel safe. Even at my like regular day job at a library, like I've never taken off my mask. We got vaccinated literally the first day we could in
Mhm.
Ohio. Like we drove to Dayton
Oh
because
wow.
no one was like scheduling
Yeah.
appointments down there, so we didn't feel like we
Yeah.
were taking it away from anyone. But Columbus was like way clogged up.
Mhm.
So I got vaccinated as soon as I could, but I never took the mask off because, like at a public library, you can't really require vaccinations.
Mhm.
And eventually, when the mask mandate at a state level and then the county level and then the city level went away, like we got rid of that for patrons. But, frankly, I don't trust everyone who
Yeah.
comes in.
I wouldn't
So,
either.
and I
I
don't want to ruin
frequented
my
the San
plans,
Diego
but I also don't
system.
want to like, yeah, like I don't want to endanger any of my friends or like my
Mhm.
family, or anyone I know who's like immunocompromised or anyone with children who are under 12. So it definitely feels weird
It does feel weird,
to
yeah.
like think about having shows indoors, but I mean, I don't play an instrument with my mouth or sing, so like I can have my mask on the whole time.
Yeah.
And right now, that ultimately feels okay enough to me. And I might come to regret that. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. But I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, so it's still kind of interesting over there too. Um So I guess what would be the two of you your ideal concert slash venue slash time set or setup for a Powers Rolling gig?
In a no COVID world.
Yeah, no COVID
Oh, in a
world.
no
Just
COVID
like
world?
completely
Yes, trying-
ideal. Like, what would be the sickest
Mhm.
thing you like best setup venue, whatever,
Mhm.
like
Sickest
lineup,
gig would
etc.
probably be like 6 p.m. Big Sur.
Oh,
Sick.
We're like the first act, 6 p.m. I don't want to deal with anyone else. And then like some promoter gets us some ridiculous cabin I could never afford ever in Big Sur,
Yeah.
where after I finish up watching Kurt Vile's set or something, I can just go sit in a hot tub for 3 days straight and ignore everything else, I guess.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be
But
sick.
as far as like a full bill, I mean, like Dirty Dungarees is the laundromat slash bar that we book at here in Columbus.
Okay.
And I love bringing people through here. Also, Tubby's in Kingston, definitely our other favorite venue.
To be fair, that was my like I'm being like Jeff Bezos about my show booking or something like that. Like,
but yeah,
which I don't want to ever be, honestly.
but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I would, well, honestly, the ideal gig, I don't even care where it happens or when, but it's twice now that we were supposed to open for Laraji.
Oh wow, that would be insane.
Yeah, and twice it's been
Well,
canceled.
yeah.
The first time was like a health complication on his part. He couldn't travel
Bummer.
to preserve his health.
Yeah.
But then the next year was the day that Beacon came out on Garden Portal, and the show actually did still happen in Cleveland.
But I had to call and be like, we're not playing because
yeah,
we don't
because
want to
we
deal
all
with
talked
this.
about
Like,
it, and I
yeah.
was just like, I can't be the woman to give like one of my dulcimer idols, COVID.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it. So we had to cancel it the second time. Well,
Oh,
we
wow.
felt we had to.
So that was like right in like
so
the
honestly, yeah, ideal gig would be like Dirty Dungarees, all ages, free. Laraji plays, we open. He gets paid like $1,000 because there are like 200 people just trying to climb in to see him.
yeah.
That would be the ideal.
We'll say Laraji at Dirty Dungarees with us and Aaron Dillaway.
and Aaron
That would be
yeah, and Aaron. Mhm.
Yeah.
his ambient tape's the last one I need to wrap up that collection. So yes,
Yeah,
feeling that.
That's awesome.
absolutely.
Wow, Laraji, that's crazy. I really hope that happens for you guys. That would be so amazing. That's crazy. And have you guys ever been to Big Sur?
I have.
Have you? Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've been to the West Coast one time in my life, and it was a long time ago, and
Really?
it was beautiful. But we were supposed to be back there last year, but COVID messed everything up. So
Yeah, in LA we were gonna come play a show, but
and I was gonna
That
go
bums
hang
me
out
out.
with my buddy who I consider almost a brother to me at this point that I've yet to meet in person, Patrick Shiroishi.
Dude,
Mhm.
why Patrick is literally like everybody's best friend since COVID
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they've never
Get some
met,
whiskey
you
with
know?
Patrick. Oh.
he makes everyone feel so special.
Patrick
And it's
is
always genuine.
I
But
know,
even
literally
he's
though.
an
even
angel.
more importantly, he's an incredible musician,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
respect
yeah,
him
100%.
endlessly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Patrick
Mind-blowing.
rules.
Yeah, shout out to Steve Lowenthal because he is the one who he will occasionally send us care packages. We'll like order a thing and he's like, hey, if you like heard this thing I put out, I'm like, no, but I'm sure it's amazing. And sure enough, he sent Dissension in one of them and it's like, have you heard this guy? And we were just like, no. And we were both just like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
our intro to Patrick.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was my favorite record of last year.
Yeah. Patrick is absolutely amazing. I think Maddie, what was your intro to Patrick? I think you found him.
Oh, I met Patrick like bluntly in person at a Godspeed concert. He was opening for their LA show, and he also then would go out on stage and did some of the 2017 material with them. And this was because he's had a long backlog of stuff that was like about to get released between 2019 to 2020, but he was doing like dissension material with a lot of spoken word pieces. It's really fascinating to see because then over the course of the last year, he's moved a lot of that field recording and live stuff into those albums, and I think it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got his Trouble in Mind, and then a couple of other ones sitting on my massive rack right now, and I have no clue when I'm going to get to him. But
Yeah.
Patrick, you own.
Yeah, Patrick's
yeah, I
We
mean,
can't
amazing.
keep up. Like every single day, like every other day. I
Something
get on
new.
Instagram and I'm just like, man, you put out another thing with this
I
other
know.
amazing label.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, it's mind blowing, and it's all good. Like that's
Yeah.
the craziest part. Like there's no filler. It's all amazing.
I love the dude, and I probably only own about like 20% of his discography. So
If
yeah.
that, I
don't
mean,
think
and
any
we
of it-
have like
yeah.
a lot at this point. Like we try to buy everything as it comes out, but some of it sells out within like 2
Straight up
hours. And I'm just
so
like, oh, man,
fast,
I was at
dude.
work.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Him and Claire have the biggest sections in my tape log. They're fighting.
Yeah.
I have no clue where their collab tape's going to get filed under who yet.
I know.
Yeah, whoever's listed first, I guess.
Claire
Yeah,
rules
That's,
really hard
yeah.
too.
Claire does rule.
Yeah, she's amazing.
You guys should check out. Patrick put out actually his like first tape on my friend Rob's label. I think you guys would really like what my friend Rob is doing. His label is called Weird Cry, and I think you could still find some of Patrick's really old tapes in like his Bandcamp.
Oh.
But
I
Alright.
will look that up. And
Yeah.
I'll also
Rob-
bother
Rob
Patrick
rules.
about that as soon as we're done with this.
yeah, Rob McGill, Weird Cry out of Ojai. Absolute legend that doesn't get talked about enough. So I'm just gonna put that. If anybody is listening to this, listen to Rob McGill stuff and go check out Weird Cry.
He's a mountain man. He's got incredible voice.
Literally, just an amazing human. Holds down
Oh, wow.
the experimental scene in Ohio for sure.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
So I guess one last thing before we jump into one more question. So Matthew, we've been made aware about your past involvement in the craft beer industrial complex. When you're hopping up on stage, what's your beer of choice?
This also goes for you too, Jen.
Yeah, you too, Jen.
Okay.
When I'm hopping up on stage, what's my beer choice? I feel like when I'm hopping up on stage, I really don't care what it is, as long as it is strong enough to make me not shake from being nervous from playing. So I would say any beer that is like 6 to 7% is usually my beer choice.
Nice.
And historically, if I'm like drinking beers in my house, I'm a total bro that just drinks pale ales and IPAs, because I like to kick back with my bros and talk about sports.
Yeah, hell
yeah.
Daisy,
And
you
beard
have
oil.
that daisy cutter.
Oh yeah, hey, Chicago baby,
Hell
You guys are
yeah.
lucky.
It's so good. Yeah.
Daisy Cutter is good.
It's kind of rare around here, though. Really rare, actually.
In Ohio, it's rare. When
Yeah.
when I was in Philly last weekend, I was
I
getting
know.
Daisy Cutter like
Yeah, I was
everywhere.
jealous. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I like hoppy beers, and if I don't really drink liquor anymore unless I'm trying to have a horrible time. But if I am trying to have a horrible time, I will drink Fernet usually exclusively.
Oh, wow.
PBR and Fernet, Boilermaker there.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
the Chicago would be the old style Malort.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Also
did that when I was in
amazing.
Chicago. Oh, that's great. That one.
However,
really
Malort's
good.
like they like made it like
It's like,
uniform
yeah,
now,
it's like
so
quality controlled now. It sucks.
yeah, it was
It's like
better.
there's no gamble anymore.
It was
Yeah.
better when you would get one that just tasted like
Like crushed up aspirin.
or like
you know?
dead junkie piss or something.
Oh my
like that
gosh.
was, yeah.
I always said like crushed up aspirin and earwax.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, Burt Spot's every flavor Malort. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it was the best. For me on stage, I don't really I try not to bring it on too strong before, but I like to kick back a little. Well, Mystic Mama is a beer that's out of Athens, Ohio. It's an IPA. It's really good. It's
Yeah.
out of Checchio's Brewery.
Oh
in
wow,
Athens.
that's sick.
So shout out to them. That's my favorite beer from Ohio.
That's probably my favorite beer from Ohio as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really
Yeah.
good. But what I do, which a lot of people think is like insane, I guess, my liquor of choice, I really just like shots of gin.
Huge.
That is huge.
Just straight shots, just going, just
Yeah, like the other night, like my friend's like, "Do you want ice in it or like a mixer?" And I'm like, "No, like I'll just, shot's fine." Or
Wow.
gin and soda, not gin and tonic, but gin and soda. That's my liquor drink of choice. And that's honestly what I go for most of the time. Like if I'm playing a gig, like beer is more of a home thing. Yeah.
The first time I saw Jen do a warm shot of well gin, I knew that I was going to get murdered in my sleep, and
Or married
it's
to
okay.
you, Larry.
So
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I go for.
That's
I
awesome.
also like Fernet, but gin's the only other way. Or Malort. Yeah.
This is great.
So I guess like real quick, I want to ask you about your radio show real fast, just because we love DIY radio around these
Oh
parts.
yeah.
So
Oh, you definitely
can you tell us about your radio show and like what you're spinning, what station you're on, what your show is called, etc.
Yeah, I'm on a local like community radio station in Columbus called WCRS.
Nice.
We also adhere to FCC regulations. So no cursing. There are a lot of like more mother tracks I want to play that I like can't
Yeah.
play.
Mhm.
I don't know. I play a lot of different stuff. My show's called Oral Thicket. I actually
Mm.
started it in like late December of last year because I was going crazy from not booking any gigs for anyone.
Yeah.
But my favorite pastime, like way more than talking about my own music, is geeking out about other people's music,
Yeah.
which I think y'all can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the greatest thing in the world. So I was just like, man, I got to do something. Also, it'll just make me more productive in general and give me like some sort of weekly routine. So I started doing it, and like I play a lot of like drone and like ambient and like free jazz, like improv stuff, like everything under like the experimental bubble.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. Like labels that I play a lot. There's a lot of three-lobed. There's
We
a
saw
lot of
the
full
hat.
spectrum. Like Andrew Weathers has been like so super supportive. Distant Bloom,
Oh yeah, Distant Bloom's
out
sick
of I
too.
think St.
Yeah.
Louis. A lot of their stuff. Oh God, I'm forgetting more. Like Dear Life out of Philly.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff. That's like, I don't know. I mean, I feel it's super popular, but maybe it's because I pay attention to it. I played a lot of American Dreams, like
Yeah.
before, we even like got that thing going with Jordan for sure.
Mhm.
Was playing a lot of their stuff. Um, yeah, there's just a ton. I don't know. I actually started off thinking that I would play a lot more out of my like digital
Yeah.
collection that I've been amassing on SoulSeek since like 2005.
Oh hell yeah.
That's sick.
Which
Shout
I
out
still do to
SoulSeek.
this day. I love SoulSeek.
It's really good.
FIFA, like piracy, like responsibly. You pay for everything you can,
Yeah.
but you got to
Of
explore
course.
somehow.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like mostly I've ended up playing like modern, like very contemporary, like past few years stuff,
Mhm.
which I didn't expect, but it's actually gotten me really, really amped on like what's happening right now
Yeah.
again, which was like an unexpected boon.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
So, where can people keep up with your radio show if like they were inclined to tune in? Do you post your your playlist
It airs
anywhere? Or?
every Wednesday on wcrsfm.org. From 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
But I archive all of it on, like, if you search for Oral Thicket on Mixcloud, I archive
Oh,
every
nice.
episode
Okay.
there.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm excited to check it out. I didn't know you had a radio show. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm about to air, I think, episode 36 this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Jen records them and I mix them.
Yeah, he mixes
That's it.
all
Yeah.
the levels for me, so it sounds good.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's really fun. I love it.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing. It's called Oral Thicket, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Oral Thicket. There it is. We'll have to tune in. What's today? Monday? So in 2 days, we'll have to tune in.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah,
tune
2
in
nights
in
from
2
now.
days.
Yeah, and for you guys, it's amazing. It's like 7 p.m., like dinner time or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
That's
This is
awesome.
true.
Thanks for sharing that. We love when we have fellow community radio programmers on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
It's been a great joy. And even when I start booking again, like I'll still do the radio show. Like I'm totally locked in now.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed.
definitely.
Oh, fantastic.
So we have some listener questions. We're down to it. I think that does it for all of our questions. Are you guys ready to jump into some listener questions real fast?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We should start calling it a mailbag, Maddie, because I've been listening to podcasts recently and they all call it a mailbag.
No, it's listener questions.
Listener questions. All right, so your favorite music to come out of Ohio? That's the first one.
Oh God.
Kind of touched on earlier, but
Yeah, we kind
if
of
you
already
want to
touched on
talk
it, but
Columbus punk, just straight the bands and name them. This is that.
Well,
time.
no,
Yeah.
not Columbus punk, but Cleveland punk for
Cleveland-
sure.
Whoops, God.
I'll just do favorite music from Ohio, and I'm gonna leave out like 10 trillion people.
Mhm.
But that being said, Talons, Bad Noids,
Mhm.
Emeralds, Tusco Terror, Sword Heaven, Bill Fox, The Mice, which
Hell
was
yeah.
Bill Fox's band before he was solo. The Mirrors,
Oh,
Perubu, even though Dave Thomas
Oh
is
wow, I didn't know they're
a
from
jerk beyond belief.
That's sick.
God, I hate being put on the spot.
You're good.
With Ohio stuff at least. I mean, as far as Columbus goes, there's like anything Ron House did pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, just Cleveland stuff. The Dreadful Yawns was like a kind of like Graham Parsons sort of country band that
Oh,
I love dearly.
that's sick.
They were actually the last signee to Bomp from Los Angeles before Greg Shaw died.
Oh wow.
Um,
Oh right.
and
Like,
they're
right before.
like he literally died like before their record came out, and then it like ruined their band pretty much.
Oh.
But yeah, the self-titled record from Dreadful Yawns is one of my favorites of all time. There was this, like, Ohio's just like a bunch of people that are amazing at music that then sabotage it completely and like refuse to tour.
I have some more modern ones though. That I think
Talons
aren't-
is modern and a bunch of
Oh
other
yeah,
people are
yeah,
modern.
no, you said yeah. But Lisa Belladonna, amazing.
She's incredible.
She recorded her self-titled on Feeding Tube, but like that doesn't matter, you know, like
Yeah.
she is a goddess.
That's
She's
sick.
amazing.
I'll have to check
She's
her
like
out.
the spokesperson for like Moog synthesizers now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She's just the best.
That's
She
amazing.
rules. Pete Fosco out of Cincinnati, incredible. Wasteland Jazz Unit out of Cincinnati, incredible. Mike Shiflett out of Columbus.
Oh nice.
Keith Rankin.
You know, Keith Rankin is Giant Claw, like
I didn't know-
legendary both.
I didn't know he was from Ohio. Wow, that's sick.
yeah, Orange Milk's Ohio.
Orange Milk's from Ohio. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Keith lives like
Yeah.
5 minutes from us.
Keith
Oh,
was
dude, that's
basically
sick.
like he came up in Dayton and then moved to Columbus. Field Sleeper from Columbus, which is Alex Paquette. Beautiful, beautiful music. Oh, there's so many others.
There's a rock band from here that I kind of like right now called Kneeling in Piss that
That's
is
sick.
like kind of like throwbacky to the like Times New Viking like
Oh.
shitcase era of
Nice.
Columbus,
Yeah.
but they're all very nice people and I like them. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I don't know. Ohio has like so much good music that like you have to like kind of think about for a second before you're like, oh wait, yeah, that person was actually from
Yeah.
Ohio. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like for instance, like Jason Molina, like, you know, Songs
Oh.
Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Also from Ohio.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like he was from I think Sheffield or Elyria, which is like about 40 minutes west of Cleveland. And like, you know, he was like his dad was like my friend's like science teacher in high school or something like
Oh
that.
wow, that's random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I'm like, well,
Oh.
Jason was like one of, the greatest American songwriters of all time. So
Yeah.
Also, out of Columbus, another one. Well, our friend Taylor Conrad, amazing, super prolific. The worst ever at self promotion and like touring, but he rules. Also, Egon Gone and the Sundogs is like an '80s esque like I
Like-
don't know. They're like shoegaze, but like meets
like Cocktail
like
Twins.
dark wave.
Oh wow, that sounds
Yeah.
sick.
They rule.
And Taylor and I actually have a split tape that came out on Bake Tapes from New York City.
That's not a
Wow.
split; it's a collaboration.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
not a split. It was like it's Conrad Rolin that I recorded here at our house. But like Bake Tapes only does like 50 tapes and then it's gone.
Yeah, baked is
And
cool.
so
Yeah.
I think you can stream the whole thing on their Bandcamp, but it's me playing acoustic 12 string and Taylor playing electric 6 string, but it's like, it's like pretty fried. Taylor plays some really fried music. And he also plays music with this dude Caleb Miller from here,
Yeah.
who is like a jazz guy who I think went to school for jazz, which is hilarious
He
to
did.
me.
He has like his
But, like-
master's in like jazz performance.
That's sick.
He's like I think he was originally a keyboardist, but he mostly does sax now. I don't know. He does everything.
Yeah, he plays like basically
Um,
every instrument, but he's incredible at all of them, and he does a lot of shows with our buddy Taylor here that are like it's like if you went and saw like Patrick in LA or whatever with someone
Yeah.
else, like it
Mhm.
would be like on that level, but like more demented.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, Morning a Black Star out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, I
If you
didn't know that
haven't
they were
listened
from
to
Cleveland
them-
either. Wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I grew up with Rafiq.
I mean, that's like truly some of the
Yeah.
best music to come out of
Yeah,
Ohio.
that's sick. I didn't know they were from
Um,
Ohio. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Cleveland, baby.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Cleveland, I feel like has definitely top ranks for like I mean, Albert Eiler, like
I didn't know
Oh,
Albert Eiler was from
Cleveland.
Ohio
Yeah.
either. What the heck?
Yeah, also
for some
Roland,
reason was
Roland
like,
Kirk is from Columbus, and that is definitely our greatest plan.
dude, I'm just over here thinking that like Ohio is just like the middle of nowhere or something.
Yeah,
and
no,
then you guys are
guys,
just
no.
dropping all these
Voices and
names.
Well,
Brainiac from Dayton,
Brainiac,
you know?
Brainiac to me is the critical one. I put them on the pitchfork list I submitted. They
Yeah.
were
I
the
was
punk.
actually I was talking with someone from Portland, Oregon last night, joking about how when I started touring, people would be like, "Oh, you're from Ohio? Like, how are the fucking farms?" Oh, sorry, I just swore.
You're
again.
good.
How are the farms? And I was like, dude, Cleveland is like 2/3 bigger than Portland, Oregon. What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah,
It's so
for
Like
real.
dense.
it like the 3 cities in Ohio are like Cleveland is basically mini New York or like Providence, Rhode Island.
Wow.
Here in Columbus, it's like the true like neutral Midwest, I guess, or something.
Mhm.
But it's
Yeah.
3 million people,
Yeah.
and then like
Ooh.
Cincinnati's like even more than that, and it's like half Kentucky, half Ohio, I guess.
Yeah, it's Covington on
So-
the south side of the river and Cincinnati on the north, but it's basically a giant city.
So like when I started touring and people were like, "Yeah, how are the cows?" and I was like, "Dude, I literally grew up in inner city Cleveland where all I could see were like abandoned, dead industrial buildings,
Yeah.
and like literal junkies like dead like on the sidewalk that I would step over. It's not really,
it's not farms.
it's not
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
cornfield, homie. Like and also there's like a million more people that live here that live in like Austin, Texas. So
Yeah.
shut up. Like yeah.
Wow.
I love how you just schooled everyone right now on Ohio. Thank you for that. That's
This is a
amazing.
big
Yeah.
history.
I mean, look, Ohio sucks, but like unless
Yeah,
you
like,
unless you're
people-
from here,
people need
then
to
you should
know,
shut up about it.
Please don't move here,
Yeah.
everyone, because the rent's already getting out of control.
Oh no, people are
But, you
finding
know.
out how dope Ohio is. So Maddie, which fan question should we jump into next?
Oh, let's just keep going down the list here. We just want to get a check in about how's the Last of Us 2 playthrough going.
Oh my god.
Oh,
who asked that question?
Oh, I did, because I just see everyone in the scene, American Dream scene, just kind of getting down on the game.
Yeah.
I play on a 360 and original Xbox, so I'm kind of done with games at the moment. But
Yeah,
I
you're
like to
you're
check
screwed.
Just
Jen and I bought a PS4 in the middle of pandemic last year, and it
Yeah.
really has saved us, like, I don't even know how much money from
Doing other things.
doing anything pretty much. And I just recently, over the last couple of months, blasted through both of the Last of Us games.
Yeah.
And I will straight up say that as a huge nerd that's been playing video games my entire life, that those were the two best video games I've ever played in my entire life. Specifically the second one. And people were hating on that. Anyone that hates on that one, like, I'm sorry if you already have an opinion about it, but if you have an opinion about that that's not positive, like, then I cannot agree with you. Like,
I haven't played it yet, but I know enough about it. Like the lashback about it, it just seems like everyone's like mad that they're just like, oh, like the protagonist is a lesbian, meaning like I'm not allowed to, but not like a porn lesbian, like like a real lesbian. I'm not allowed to have fantasies about her now. And oh wait, what's this about like trans people? Like it's really messed up.
Last of Us 2 is the greatest video game I've ever played in my entire life.
And I guess I've only seen
that's my opinion on it.
Played like a little bit of it, but by the time he was on The Last of Us 2, I was just like, all right, I can't actually watch too much because I actually want to play this series. Oh, because I'm like a giant like RPG like fantasy nerd.
Yeah.
So initially it was like, zombies. Like, I'm so over that. Like, whatever. But like, obviously, it's so much more than that. But like, I was really stoked because I got to play Skyrim finally last year.
That's awesome.
Like, like 9 years after it came out or something.
Oh, I'm still doing an Oblivion playthrough. I'm never gonna finish it.
That's the thing, man. Oblivion is like one of my favorite games of all time, and I actually think Oblivion is better than Skyrim. Let it be known. This is my official statement.
I agree with that statement too.
It is better. But Skyrim was amazing.
I never got into Skyrim, but I got into Fallout. Both Bethesda.
Oh,
right?
see, I
just finished Fallout 4.
Yeah, I haven't finished Fallout 4, but I was super into Fallout 3 for a long time. And I played Fallout 4 beginning of the pandemic, but I just never finished it. But amazing games. Probably one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, so 4 was actually one of my least favorite of the series, but it's still good. New Vegas was my favorite.
Everybody says that New Vegas is their favorite, and I was actually just having a conversation about New Vegas with someone at the show we had on Saturday, actually. One of the dudes in the band's like, we're just walking from the liquor store, and he's like, "You play games?" And I'm just like, "I Fallout occasionally," and he's like, "Which one?" And I was like, "Fallout 3 is my favorite." He's like, "Nah, man, New Vegas." And literally everybody tells me that. Like,
New Vegas is like everything you like about Fallout 3, but better. Just so you know.
Okay. That's good to know.
That's what I tell people about Oblivion and Skyrim. Like, it's everything you like about Skyrim minus the dragons, which honestly, like, whose favorite part of the game was that? Like, no one's.
Yeah.
It's the world, man, and all the funky little side quests with all the weird little characters like that. And and Oblivion's like perfect for that. You should totally finish it. I understand the Oblivion like realm, like that plane of existence.
Oh no, I loved that stuff. I had a terrible
that was the most boring part, though.
I had a nonsensical build that was very bad, and yet I still was finding things in the Oblivion realms. Like I found a necklace that was just letting me just take damage and just giving it back to people. Yeah, like great, I don't have to play. And then I would scale the difficulty as far down as possible, so I didn't have to deal with terrible spawned ogres.
Yeah, you just you gotta go like stealth and archery. Like that's
what I was doing. That's what I was doing for my second.
And yeah,
it works.
I play games on easy these days because I don't care anymore, and I'm just trying to enjoy the story.
I do that too, actually, too. And all my friends, they talk down on that too. And then another thing that I've noticed, because I'm very scared of Fallout, actually, which all my friends make fun of me for, the ghouls scare the crap out of me.
The mole rats scare the
mole rats
and the mire
terrify me, dude.
The shit out of me, and I stopped playing it.
They're absolutely terrifying, dude. And so what I've learned to do in dark areas is you turn the brightness up on the game so that nothing comes out at you. And that's what I do. Yeah, it's my...
Oh, man.
Wait, have either of you played The Last of Us?
I haven't, but I have a friend.
I was an Xbox lad this entire time. I will... You play Far Cry 2?
I'm playing 5 right now. Yeah. I just started it.
go back and do the second Far Cry. That's my favorite shooter. That one really changed a lot what I thought a shooter could accomplish.
Wow.
5 is pretty cool though, because like you just shoot like Trump supporters.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's kind of
But
sick.
that ending.
it's pretty chill.
That's kind of sick.
So far.
Yeah.
But I really will say that the Last of Us series is like straight up the best game I've ever played in my entire life. And I've been playing games since like Commodore 64.
Real
hell
quickly,
yeah.
wasn't The Last of Us, like, doesn't it take place in Santa Barbara?
Well, so the ending,
That's a lot.
I can't even talk about this with Jen because she hasn't played it. But, yeah, the final area of The Last of Us 2 does take place in Santa Barbara.
Okay. I knew one, at least some part did. I remember one of my friends
Yeah,
told
and
me
it's like arguably the most fucked up part. For sure.
So
But that's a game that like you're not going to sit there and play it and be like, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
It's more like a game where you're like, it's like a movie that is horrible that never ends, kind of, but it's also incredible.
yeah.
So you have to see it through, but it really just makes you feel terrible the whole time.
I'm gonna have to
Like-
play it. You're kind of convincing me on The Last of Us, on the series.
Oh, you should definitely play it. I mean, it really truly is, I think, the greatest series in any game that's ever been made ever.
I've also watched enough that
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna play it.
That's awesome. So Maddie, do you want to take us on to this next question?
Oh yeah, crap. We gotta get through this one. So yeah, why is it so hard to get gals into the Grateful Dead?
Oh,
Oh shit! All right.
I'm
because
just
they're
trying
just like
to-
not that good. I don't know. Like, I mean,
That's so rude.
man, yeah, I feel put on the spot, but and actually, I have. All right, so I've thought a lot in my life about why I should like them. Not least because so many of my, peers and friends,
I'm getting more booze for this question.
and respected, people in my life, musically and otherwise, musically, personally, emotionally, they all love the Dead, but honestly, I just don't feel anything when I listen to them except like a big sense of fatigue.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I just I don't get it. I even attended this like hour and a half long seminar that this ultra dork did at OSU, like Ohio State University's in Columbus,
Yeah.
like biggest
Yeah.
undergrad population, whatever. This is some like, like a assistant professor or something who was doing this course, and he had this super elaborate like multicolor like brochure,
Yeah.
and it was all about like 125 different versions of Dark Star, and
Oh
he analyzed
my
all of them and
God.
compared and
Oh
contrasted.
my
So it was like
God.
my two least favorite things in the world, like the Grateful Dead and like academia, like
Yeah.
together. But I went because this dude I was dating at the time who didn't even care about music was like, well, you like music and you're smart, so like you want to go to this? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm like 22, that seems fine. And it was awful. The guy actually
Oh
took all
my
of his little brochures
gosh.
back at the end. He's like, I spent so much at Kinko's on these, I can't give them away.
No.
Like I have
I'm
to
just
hold on to
cringing.
them.
You're making
A
me just
pre-FedEx office era.
But to be fair, I disliked them before, and really it is an emotional thing. It's much deeper than like being turned off because so many people are into them. Although I will say that the culture surrounding them and Fish, which I know they're not the same band, man, but like they kind of are in my mind.
Yeah.
But the culture, it's really like
Definitely
a mega
not the
church
same.
like cult thing. Like people are just like, yeah, like, so have you listened to like the Dead? And I'm just like, oh God, I can see where this is going. They're gonna be like, you just haven't heard the right album, dude. Like Bob and like Jerry really lock in this like one in like 1974, and I'm just like, I don't care. I just really, yeah, I don't feel anything when I listen to them. I don't think it's like bad or evil music. I just don't think it's good at all.
This is gonna get get us kicked off Jimmy Rose podcast.
I know. It's fine. No,
I also
will
like the
stand
Dead for
by-
the record.
Yeah, and I will
but-
stand by my stance. I don't care about them. That's all.
It's weird to me because like the thing that got me to like the Dead was being dosed
Literally
against my
getting
will,
dosed
pretty much.
against your will as a
Wow.
kid,
Yeah,
as like a 19-year-old.
and then like and I was all fucked up, and I was 19. Oh, sorry, I swore
You're
again.
good, you're
God,
good.
I'm so bad at this. I was all messed up on LSD against my will, and someone put on Dark Star, and I was like, wow, like off of Live Dead. I have to make sure that I say the right version, but I was just like, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then like all these people that like I had made fun of the Dead to my entire life were like,
Yeah.
well, this is the Dead, idiot, you know? And so I've been a fan ever since, but you know, I don't think it should take hard psychedelics to get you into a band, maybe, or something.
Well, that's my big thing. And like I like so much stuff that's related to them. Like, I mean, you know, I have like I don't know if you guys can see it, but like there's a 43 on my neck. Like it's
Yeah.
a David Crosby tattoo. And like, you know, his first solo record, like he has like cherry on it. Like I love so much other stuff out of like that California, like, you know, 60s psych
Mhm.
scene
Yeah.
and 70s.
Also, just to interrupt you real quick, like if I was trying to make someone that I did not know get into our music, I'd be like, well, maybe you should just eat some mushrooms and listen
Well,
to
no,
it.
but
You know?
that's you know, because I would never
Yeah.
say that about the Dead, because for me it just feels like a very like calculated, maybe that's what I don't like about them. I don't know. I should honestly
Jen's
like
just a
write
hater.
a book about it, but
She
just
hates
That's
don't-
academia. No.
stop. No, don't bring that into it. I don't hate them.
Yeah, you do.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, and I feel like there's other like free-form psychedelic bands like Trodgrass who do it so much better. That's all. It just speaks to me more. It's subjective, you know. People who like the Dead, I don't write them
Yeah.
off. People who like Fish, I'm suspicious of. The Dead, I'm at peace with anyone who likes the Dead, you know, unless they give me a different reason to not be. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you guys for sharing your takes on the Grateful Dead.
The
So
Dead rule.
We got a couple rapid fires.
yeah, we gotta do these ones quick, because we are running out of time. But so is a hot dog a sandwich, and if so, is a corn dog a sandwich?
Oh my God, this is all you
Ugh,
want.
I hate
Way more
this
people on
line
that.
of questioning. I don't care.
Okay,
A hot dog is a hot dog, and a corn dog is a corn dog. And if you care
There
if
it
it's
is.
a sandwich or not, then don't eat either of them. That's my opinion on it.
There it is. There it
Terrific.
is. So
I would argue that a hot dog is a sandwich because I worked at Jimmy John's for about a year, and
Oh,
we don't
hell
have
yeah.
bread all the way through.
yeah.
So basically, like a hot dog could be a sandwich. And honestly, I really love the take that a corn dog could also be a sandwich, but I don't necessarily believe it. I just really like seeing people get riled up when someone's like, "Yeah, it is."
I personally just don't care, but it like when people say like, "Is a Pop-Tart a sandwich?" That's when I get really angry. So it's
I
like,
kind of like
you know.
it. I'm just like, yeah, man, why not? Sky's the limit.
I also don't really get angry because I really don't care about that at all.
Yeah.
But
I am not angry.
Yeah, I am not angry. I just
Not
don't
angry.
care.
I'm not yelling right now.
It's like when someone tells
Yeah.
me that the Dead's the best band. I'm like, I'm not
You're like,
angry right
She's
now.
not yelling.
I'm
But
not
I do
turning
think
into a
you're
corn
wrong.
cob.
I can't explain why you're wrong, but you are. Yeah.
Also, hot dogs and corn dogs rule, and I also have a tattoo
Yeah.
of a hot dog on my body. So
I
Nice.
There you
actually, and I saw it. I saw an article today that said that a study suggests that every hot dog you eat takes 35 minutes off your life.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
What?
hell yeah, man, bring it on.
That's dope. I need to start eating more Costco hot dogs. Just get out of here.
Yeah.
It's end
we
my
just
life.
we just got a membership. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
let's
got
do
married
it.
and instant
You
we
can't
got a
beat it.
Costco
You can't
membership.
beat $1.50, dude. You can't beat
You
$1.50.
You cannot.
You
No.
literally can't.
That's
Can't beat $1.50 for the
Combo,
best
it's
hot dog ever.
beautiful.
Exactly. So here's one more. Why does Matt change the strings on his 12 string instead of just buying a new one? And that's from Hayden Pedico.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, because I'm not a Mexican summer.
Oh, the shade.
Also, that's no shade, and that's just a joke. I love
Yeah.
Hayden, and I know that his question was a joke as well.
Yeah.
And I think I told him I was going to say something else other than that.
Yeah, that you weren't as lucky as him, that's very sweet.
No, Hayden rules, and for the record, everyone should listen to his music, especially "Greetings from Amarillo," because it's a great record.
Yeah.
But
I
will
really
bust
love the
his
duo
balls.
he did
I
with.
will bust Hayden's balls about weird questions on a interview thing. So,
I love it. It's delightful. Hey, Hayden. I hope you're listening.
Thank you, Hayden. I hope you're listening, and I just want to say I really liked your record with Andrew Weathers.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's so
well, I mean,
good.
Andrew recorded his new one that's coming on Mexican Summer.
Oh wow, that's sick actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Shout out Andrew for just
it's
being
beautiful.
Shout out to Andrew for all the press he got like locally, and he was like, "This is the funniest thing ever to me," and I'm like, "That's how I feel when someone in Columbus is like, hey, what they're doing is cool."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I already shouted out Full Spectrum, but that's Andrew and his partner Gretchen run Full Spectrum, and that's one of my favorite labels.
Andrew is our homie. I love him and his hatred for lawns. Andrew is killing it. Andrew is a very dope person, and I really love his DIY ethic. Just a cool guy.
I think my grandma saw the piece because she lives in Lubbock. So if they got the paper, they may have seen the stuff, and that warms my heart.
That's sick.
Oh, I hope she cut it out.
I know, cut it out, hung it up on the fridge.
In this, Maddie.
She's 99 years old.
99 years
old. You know
old.
what she watches.
Yes.
Andrew is responsible for so much good music in general.
Yeah.
And Hayden,
Lucy Liu, by the way.
Oh my God, Lucy is another homie of ours. Yeah, we love Lucy.
I just played another of hers on the radio show the other week. Like, oh man,
Lucy's great. Yeah, we love them.
We're gonna have so many good words at the Tabs Out end of the year party for practice.
So here's another one, and these next two are actually from another good friend of ours, Patrick Shiushi. So, what is the best and worst pizza topping?
Oh my!
Oh, this is all Matt. It's all Matt. I'll leave it to him.
Yeah, Jen is lactose intolerant.
Ooh,
which really doesn't
that's
matter.
a bummer.
Yeah, I can still.
You could have Dia pizza. You could have like Dia
cheese.
cheese.
Is my fave.
Yeah,
Nice.
I would say like if I'm judging a pizza straight up for the first time, it's got to be just cheese and pepperoni.
That's
So I work at a pizzeria. I can make that.
Thank you. You're doing the Lord's work. Just saying.
I don't know how to answer like what the worst would be. I don't like mushrooms, but like I understand that they're very good for people who do like them.
No, the worst is black olives for sure.
Oh, I hate black olives on pizza. I'll agree with you on that. I hate black olives on pizza. I just don't like olives in general.
Why would you ever order that?
That's what I'm saying, dude. I have a friend that gets just cheese and olives, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
That's a scary pizza.
I know. I'm like, what do you do? Dude, that thing just has eyes looking at you. Like
that's some like Patrick Bateman stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Now, crushed up black olive, that's what we put on some of our pizzas. I think that actually can work, but pepperoni.
Oh,
wait, are you talking about like a tapenade? We talking tapenade here?
Oh, we do also have a tapenade. We do have a tapenade.
I mean, because like if you're talking like a Neapolitan style, like tapenade, I can mess with that, but like just gross canned black olives on a pizza,
disgusting.
I'm not down with that.
Yeah, not down. Anyways, so moving on to the next one real fast. When are y'all coming to LA? This is also for Patrick.
Oh.
We were supposed to be there last year, playing the Tokyo Flashback Fest thing that Steve Lowenthal does.
Oh wow.
Oh, that would have been wild.
Yeah, but that
got that off so sick
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, got canceled. So hopefully
sometime
the next time. Well, Steve did tell us that we'd be welcome for like a house show anytime. But then, I believe he had a child with his wife.
Oh wow.
So the show, the living room show thing might be put on hold for a
Yeah.
while. But I don't know. We know a decent amount of people in LA, so
Come through.
hopefully whenever like things are okay and we can
Yeah.
like travel. Also, I guess the biggest thing would be minus the pandemic, pretending that doesn't still exist, which it totally still does. As soon as I get like a case for my dulcimer that can withstand like airline travel, not
Yeah.
carry-on, 'cause it's too big. That'll be when we come to LA, or until we get loaded and like on a major label, man, and don't have to have jobs anymore, and then we can just take like a month-long like road trip across the country and back. That's when we'll be out.
We'll be at Zebulon in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah! I'd love to see you guys at Zebulon. That'd be sick.
We're bringing a case of beer.
Yeah, whole case.
The booziest show with Patrick Shirishi. Also, Claire will be there, and then you guys are going. There you go.
There it is.
We're bringing like 3 cases. Patrick, Claire, us.
And then Henry will roll in with his
Oh my god,
IPAs
dude!
and
If
all that.
Henry's there, I am
Yeah.
there, and I would just that would be so sick. Henry, I hope you're
I want to
listening,
collaborate with him, man. He loves all the same British folk I do.
Dude.
He covered Grey Funnel Line, like
dude.
the
If
greatest. Oh man, I have to shout out Cyril Tani right now, one of the best songwriters ever. He wrote "Sally Free and Easy," but he also wrote "Grey Funnel Line," which Henry covered as "Amps for Christ," and
That's
it is so
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah.
If you collab with Henry, that will be one of the dopest things ever, actually. And I just want to put
That's
that
my
into the
life
universe.
goal.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen.
I'll
Yeah.
bring it on
We
my
should probably
Bandcamp
maybe
collection.
try to make that
I'm putting it
happen.
into
Honestly,
the
dude.
universe now, like the secret. Like it's gonna
Message,
happen.
just hit up Henry on Facebook now. Just comment on one of his like pictures of that he's always posting on the hill of like hills that he goes to, like on
He's
Facebook
on
or something.
Facebook.
Dude,
Am
go
I gonna
on.
have to get back on
dude,
I don't have a
for him?
Facebook.
I go on
Oh, man,
Facebook.
like,
I
kinda
live.
still do.
I live to see the videos that he posts of like his dogs and like just like all of he like rides his beach cruiser like in the mountains and stuff. And I'm like, Henry, you're sick, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to get back on just
Honestly,
for him.
just to add Henry.
Yep.
So, anyways, that's the end of our listener questions, and we have one more question here, and it's kind of the biggest one of the show. Are you guys ready for it?
Oh no.
yeah.
It's huge.
All
right.
It's huge. Maddie, go for it.
Man, we have to do this question, and it just happens. We're so sorry. A rat's just going to jump into your mouth, and I'm speaking that to both of you separately. Head or butt, and why?
A rat's gonna jump into our mouth, head or butt, and why?
So, do you
Is
want
that
this
really-
rat to jump into your mouth head first, or do you want it to jump into your mouth butt first?
You both have your own separate rat that's gonna do this.
Mouth. I guess, because there's less chance of. Well, I don't know. There's so many diseases.
Yeah,
on those
well,
things.
what was the
Yeah.
rat
It's a
doing
white rat.
prior
It's a white
to
rat that's
jumping
very
into our
clean.
mouth?
Just came from the lab.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
just came from the lab.
it's a clean lab rat, but if,
mouth. Because my cat already like does that every morning when he like puts his face into my face. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll also say mouth, and I will make out with that motherfucker.
I love
Oh.
that. That is the dopest,
Sorry.
dude. That's a good
That's
one.
poor
We've
again.
never gotten that one
I-
before.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Like I don't know. I guess I'm an old-fashioned millennial, and I prefer the mouth to the butt. I don't know.
Nice. Those are great answers. I've never had either of those. We've been asking this for how long, Maddie? Like 2 years now, almost.
Coming up on 2 years. Of
Coming
this.
up on 2 years. That was great. Thank you guys for that. Actually,
No
that
problem.
that was awesome.
I hope I don't get like canceled over this. Yeah.
No.
I know. I interviewed this other band, and they're just like, "Yeah, hope I don't get canceled." It's so funny. Anyways,
Sorry, it's really weird growing up on the farm in the middle of the cornfield here in Ohio.
It actually happens every
Like,
day.
yeah.
So yeah.
yeah, right. Back in rural Cleveland. Anyways, so that's all we have for today, guys. Lamplighter is set for a release on September 3rd through Jordan Reyes' label called American Dreams. Thanks for tuning into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 every Tuesdays now, every Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m. and NetNet Radio every Saturday, 4 p.m. This is Jen Powers and Matthew Rolin. Thanks so much for being on the show, guys.
Oh, thank you. It
Thank
was
you for
wonderful.
having us.